I owe about $6,862 in student loans, and my plan is this year to pay it fully off. I want the full balance paid off for all my student loans. I got two left, um, and then I'm going to be in the clear. Now, I started really my journey of like paying off my student loans back in 2024, and at the time I had a balance of a little over $19,000, and I started my journey of really aggressively tackling my student loans because at the time I was dating my now wife. We were soon to be engaged, and we were having a lot of honest conversations around how much debt we had in our personal finances. Because prior to getting married, we really wanted to have a good lay of the land of what we were getting into, what was going to be our debt payoff plan. At the time, I had around $19,000 in student loans. My wife had an auto loan, and I'll make another video on how she kind of tackled that debt. But the point is, we didn't want to come into our marriage having a lot of debt. Like we didn't want to come in having a lot of debt that we had to pay off. This was debt that we accumulated personally prior to the marriage. And while we come together and my debt's her debt now and her debt's my debt, thought it would be right to try to clear off as much as we can. So in 2024, prior to us getting engaged and while we're dating, I really spent that year knocking down as much as I could off of my student loans. And I took my balance from $19,000 to a little bit below $10,000. Now, moving into 2025, I still was focused on paying off my student loans. I just did it at a little bit of a slower pace. Now, the reason I did it at a slower pace is because when I looked at how much money I had in my retirement accounts and how much money I had in my investment accounts and in savings accounts, honestly, I wasn't thrilled. I felt like I was a little bit behind where I needed to be at my age when it came to savings and when it came to investments. So I pivoted a little bit in strategy towards focusing on maxing out my 401k for the first time for the first year, maxing out an HSA account and using it for like investment investing, maxing out a taxable brokerage account. Last year, me and my wife started a taxable brokerage account for our son. So there's a lot of like investing and saving that was going on last year, just in 2025. And you know, I've kind of wrestled between, kind of 2 points, right? Where, you know, if you want to be financially successful, you want to not be in debt. You want to clear out as much debt as you can, especially higher interest like debt. But you also need to balance having enough money invested because time is of the essence, right? Like the younger I am, the more money I can get into the market, the more time my money has to be able to compound. So that's kind of like the space I've been like toggling between. So in 2024 was investing not as heavily, was focused more on tackling down the debt. Last year I was focused more on accumulating more in terms of investments. This year I want to have a little bit more of a balance, but my goal is to knock out this, over $6,000 in student loans, right? I think I can do it, right? And part of my plan for doing that is continuing to audit my finances, finding where there's wasteful spending, and then redeploying that cash to be able to knock out this debt. Now, the reason I want to do that is given all the uncertainty that's going on in the economy right now, everything that's going on in the job market, tomorrow's never promised for my job and for the income that I bring in, right? And that's what me and my wife have really been talking about. We're both fortunate to have good salaries. We're both fortunate to work for a company that historically hasn't conducted many layoffs, but you never know given like the times. And I think we would feel a little bit more stable if we just had no debt. And even though this debt would be considered lower interest debt, I think the two loans I have, one of them is about 4% when it comes to the interest rate, the other one is a little over 6%. It's not considered high interest rate relative to other kind of like debt that you can have, whether it's like credit card debt where it's over 20%. We have zero credit card debt. We use our credit cards really responsibly, pay off the balance at the end of the month, and we use it just for kind of like points and for like travel. But we don't have a lot of debt in that kind of like space. So when it comes to the student loans, just knocking this out would be pretty good, right? It's going to boost our credit score. We're not going to have to worry about paying it. I mean, the monthly payments for the student loans are so low, but you're paying interest on it, and I just think it would be good to just have out of the way, right? And so that'd be my encouragement to anybody that's carrying smaller amounts or even like larger amounts of like student loans. Is just knock it out, right? Like figure out ways that you can lower some of your expenses to be able to contribute more to paying off like your debt. Now, I think the one thing that's very important in this equation is I'm still going to be heavily investing, right? And this is the one thing I've talked to one of my family members, my sister, who recently just graduated college, and um, is carrying some student loan debt, and she got her first time job. And this is the advice I gave to her, and this is the advice that I give to everybody: is a lot of like financial experts will tell you that you should pay off your debt, but also invest. And I think I 100% agree with that kind of like philosophy. Focusing on just like paying off the debt without getting money in the market, especially if you're younger, is not a wise decision, right? Student loans, yes, they can be annoying to pay. It can tie up a lot of like cash on a monthly basis, and we want to knock these down as fast as possible. But you also need to heavily contribute to your investment accounts, because time is on your side. Like if you have this thought that you're going to wait until you get all your debt cleared out so then you can start investing, you're missing so much time in the market, so much time for your money to grow and compound, and you're going to lose out on significant gains. If you actually run the financial numbers on it, it's usually actually better for you to contribute to investment accounts because of the average return that you'll get depending upon what you're investing in. Let's just say it's like S&P 500 or safe, like growth ETFs. That's typically going to outperform um, the interest you would save in paying off like your loans, right? So that's kind of my thought process, and that's why I kind of peeled back a little bit last year when it came to being as aggressive with paying off my student loans. Is that I realized this, that I need to get more money invested. I need to have my money working for me while still paying down my debt. But this year, just because I want to rebalance some stuff and I want to just knock out this petty debt, I'm just focused on paying this off. So doing the math, about 10 months left in the year, it's going to be about what, like $680 per month I would need to put down to knock out these student loans. Once I do that, I'll be going into 2027 with no student loan debt. And I'm going to feel really good, right? $19,000 to be able to pay that off in about 2 years, or 2.5 years, going on 3 years. I feel really good about that. I think it's a testament to me being disciplined in this area, and I know a lot of people that have this similar goal. And I'd encourage you to, figure out ways that you can maybe earn some extra money, or maybe the easier part is figure out where wasteful spending is going so that you can put more money towards knocking down this debt, getting it out the way. There's going to be lower stress that you carry. It's one less payment that you have to make. And then you'll have extra money that you have freed up to start investing for your financial future for tomorrow, or to just enjoy life, right? And for me, my plan is once I get this knocked out, those payments and those aggressive payments that I've been making towards paying off my student loans is just going to go into investment accounts, into savings accounts, or it's just going to be creating memories with my family. And so that's kind of like the plan. But I think it's very important that while you're on your debt payoff journey, whether it's paying off your student loans, or maybe you have a low interest payment when it comes to like your auto loan, or maybe like it's some people that are like having like mortgages and things like that with lower interest rates. It's important to pay that debt off, but you don't want to sacrifice investing. Having money in the market is so important. um, it's very much like important. I think a lot of people that are a little bit older will tell you that they wish they had more money put in their retirement accounts. And I can't tell you how many people I know that are approaching that retirement age. I have a lot of coworkers in this kind of like space where they don't feel as if they have enough money invested for retirement. And that's a scary thought. That's a scary thought for me. That's a scary thought for my wife. We're trying to do the heavy lifting now, get as much money as we can, but also free up our cash flow on a monthly basis by eliminating as much debt as possible. And for me, knocking out this like loan is something that's pretty like easy to do. If you've watched my previous videos and you've learned and heard about how much me and my wife bring in annually, we definitely we just got to be disciplined with the money that we have to pay this off. And once we get this off, we really won't have too much other debt that we need to knock off. But yeah, that's kind of like what I'm planning to do this year, is to get this debt off. Debt. I'll provide updates, in future videos throughout the year. And I'm hoping by going into the beginning of 2027, or before, honestly, I have this debt fully paid off. And then I have no longer to worry. I don't have to worry anymore about paying for a student loan. And I think it's going to be so much freeing. I just can't wait. I'm excited. I'm excited. This has been a long journey, just like trying to get this debt paid off. But yeah, well, if you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe. I'm going to continue to document my journey and share kind of what's going on with me financially, share the real numbers, share kind of like my experience. want this to be an encouragement to you, trying to build a strong community here of people that are financially disciplined, making wise decisions, and just hearing, different perspectives kind of on how people are navigating finances. Okay, well, that's it for today. I'll drop another video tomorrow. Take care.